This is a trope. And there's a specific archetype of Orofarma within a lot of animes, actually. You know, when I'm talking about the Gojos, the Maduras, the Miuras. But I'm here to tell you the problem with them. Well, first let's take a look at Gojo. They literally took every single overpowered skill and just poured it into one single guy. He's so strong that, especially within the first few seasons, he needs to be constantly sidelined in order to create tension. His presence alone gives the viewer way too much safety. And I know it sounds like I'm fucking just gobbling all over his penis, but I'm getting somewhere with this. Just imagine an episode where you are Yuji, you've been fighting the same curse for, the past episode, and it's getting super close. Todo is dead on the ground, Megumi is being useless as always. The tension is high, and you don't know who's gonna win. And then suddenly you hear fucking Daijoubu. Like, nice, all tension's gone. Everything you fought for is nigh, and yep, Gojo's here. The episode is essentially over. The whole arc is over. And I would like to mention the difference between someone like Gojo and someone like Saitama from One Punch Man. Is that Saitama is essentially a stupid idiot. Stupid loser idiot. He's so synonymous with comedy that him one-shotting someone is like literally a punchline. It's a double entendre. I'm literally Kendrick Lamar. At last, he gets away with this because it's this reoccurring gag that becomes his entire identity, right? Someone like Saitama is not meant to be beat. He's not meant to have, struggles. But this isn't the case for Gojo because his powers aren't supposed to be funny, they're supposed to be cool. These authors are creating essentially gods instead of compelling characters that go through genuine turmoil, because how can you go through turmoil if you just one-shot everybody? And yes, I am aware that this does change down the line, but only because of another Ore Maxer who mogs harder. But my point still stands for like the first 260 chapters of JJK. But now I want to talk about this guy. It's a fucking Sun Jin Woo, nonchalant dreadhead with no dreads. And yeah, this trope is fun. I'll say that again. Like, I personally love solo leveling, but it was the pioneer to this massive genre of what I like to call regression brain rot, which I will cover in a different video. And I've read essentially all of these, and they're fun. But, back on track, nonchalant characters are cool. Of course they are, especially when they're overpowered. But when the protagonist is the nonchalant dreadhead, it can get a little stale. The focus on soul leveling can never be anything more than just Sun Jin Woo flexing whenever he gets the chance. Yeah, sure, his mom is dying, but that's not really like good writing. You can just make anyone's mom be dying. Like, that's not hard. What soul leveling does that they do extremely well in is just making these super sick moments that just kind of have you like, wow, like, damn, he's that guy. And like, you kind of like self-insert maybe sometimes. You're like, fuck, I wish I was that guy. And that's literally it. And that's fun. It serves its purpose, but there's no like depth. It will never be Attack on Titan. I love Attack on Titan. So at a certain point, Sun Jin Woo becomes a literal god, and you kind of realize that you don't get the feeling where you're at the edge of your seat anymore, because obviously the GOAT, the character that the story has built up to be the strongest, the character who has literally never lost since season 1, when he was literally only meant to lose for the plot point. He's not going to lose against anyone. So how do you combat these issues? Well, maybe don't create God. At the end of the day, it's about a level of balance. Characters like Levi Ackerman or All Might are extremely strong, but they have clear weaknesses and limitations. All Might with his injury and Levi being 5'2". They're not invincible, and that's what makes them so compelling. All Might being that he can't maintain his form for too long, and Levi being that he can't reach a shelf. But the biggest thing is that they can lose. And that's all for me today.